Hello, friends, and welcome back.
Oh, you took my line.
Yeah, I took it from you, motherfucker.
This is because we fought today.
Yes. You don't fucking deserve it.
So rude.
You know who does deserve it? Here. Hello, friends, and welcome.
She doesn't know what to do.
No, she doesn't.
She
know.
doesn't
Hi, Morgan.
Hey, guys.
Morgan's here this time.
Yeah, it's that awkward
But apparently,
silence.
she doesn't listen to the podcast.
I've listened to one.
Oh, my God.
Was it the one that you were on last
Yeah.
time?
Jesus.
Yep.
Fun fact, I've listened to every single Pack of Fools skit, video,
Podcast.
Podcast.
Everything.
everything.
You watched the
I've-
entire,
The entire
trivia
channel.
because you won, obviously.
I actually airplayed
Spoilers.
it. I airplayed it on my TV.
Wow. Just watch yourself.
I was in premium UHD.
Well, that was good. But no more Game of Thrones.
Nope.
We're done with
today
Game of Thrones.
We have a new game.
We're
The Endgame.
oh my God. We're here to talk about probably the biggest movie of all time, Dumbo. Did you guys see it? I saw
I
it.
didn't get to see
Oh
it
my
yet.
god.
I'm so
I want
mad.
to see that
It
so
was
bad.
fucking atrocious.
Really?
Oh,
The movie's
that's sad.
terrible.
No, that's upsetting. I'm
Something
sure I'll
else
like
came
it,
out.
though.
I'm sure you will. The fucking elephant's cute.
Dumbo himself.
Whoever, who cares?
The movie is based
the
around.
the stupid elephant, right? That's his name.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Caleb, what came out? You just said it. You spoiled it. You spoiled my entire joke. I had that joke planned out, and then you said Endgame before I could even say
Because I
it.
made a better joke.
What was the joke?
That we have a new
Oh,
game.
a new game, right?
The Endgame.
You just made a pun, not a joke.
Puns are a form of joke.
But it's more of a
Fight,
pun than
fight, fight. All right, so this is the podcast we've literally been building up to every single episode.
Yeah, what number podcast is this? 14?
This is probably no, what?
15?
It's like
No, this is gonna be like number 17.
17?
Oh, see, I was close.
So
Almost
for,
the amount of MCU movies. Almost.
for the past
We were close.
17 weeks, we've been teasing and teasing and teasing.
We've been ready for it.
Not for
even
all
before that.
17 Weeks.
Pretty much.
Since the very first episode, we've been doing the Avengers 4 speculation section.
Oh,
Since the very first episode.
No.
You haven't even been on since the first episode. I don't want to hear
Yeah.
it.
But I listened to them. Unlike you.
I
my
listened.
God.
I listened to one, the Oscar one, and then obviously
Which is the one you were
trivia
on.
one because
That's not a podcast.
I know it's not a podcast, but I'm just saying I listened to that.
I just
and
had
watched
I just
that.
had an aneurysm.
I wasn't saying that was a podcast.
But it was a video, so it's not a podcast.
Okay,
There's
well,
video
whatever-
podcasts,
whatever
but that
wa-
wasn't a podcast.
Whatever was on your channel, I'm talking about what I've done, seen, and listened to on the channel.
All right, so now that
Obviously so.
Morgan's Pack of Fools credentials have been stated,
Yeah.
we're here to talk about Avengers Endgame.
Woo!
I guess let's just go with immediate, if you can remember, your immediate thoughts exiting the theater. We'll start with Kaylin, because I think I know what Morgan says.
Well, I was still recovering from crying because that
Oh, you were
ending-
crying too?
That
Okay.
ending really...
I'm surrounded by criers, I guess.
Yeah, we're emotional people.
Can we
I
Oh,
curse?
wasn't trying to interrupt you. Continue.
Okay. Yeah, that Captain America ending really messed me up.
That one
because
got you.
That was the most emotional part for me. I think that our previous discussions kind of spoiled Tony Stark's death for me. Yeah.
Because you were just expecting it
Yeah,
leading up to it
yeah.
so much.
And the Black Widow, I wasn't expecting that, but I was like, I guess it was the first death. I was like, all right, we're gonna get more. Like, I can't
Can't
really get-
emotionally
yeah.
invest myself into this character's
I
death.
feel like this is gonna be more. I don't think I can, really emote too much now.
What does that really say about Black Widow, though? That you couldn't sacrifice that much emotion into her
I
death?
mean, I love ScarJo. Don't get me
Oh
wrong.
my god.
But the Black Widow, I don't know. She's not my favorite Avenger.
I don't think she's anybody's favorite Avenger.
I'm
You're
excited-
Emotionally inept.
Just ask all my ex-boyfriends.
Oh, well, this got weirdly personal.
But yeah, so I'm excited for her movie that's gonna come out though.
Which is going to be a prequel, I guess.
Yeah.
Because she's dead.
It's
Well,
probably
spoilers, by the way, for Avengers Endgame.
Should have started.
It's
with
probably
that.
gonna be her origin story, right?
I hope not.
Oh.
No,
I don't care
it'll
about
probably
that
be,
much.
coming into the Avengers, like how she got picked up by Fury.
Yeah, I hope it's
think it's gonna
more
be that.
involved with Shield.
Yeah.
And more of like a team up movie with like young Hawkeye, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
All right.
Okay.
That was my.
That was
initial
your
thoughts
initial thoughts
leaving
were
the theater.
we're getting over crying. That was it.
Yeah, because Captain America's, ending was like real. It wasn't sad for me. It was like happy. I was like, yes, this guy.
So it's happy crying.
He sacrificed so much.
Yeah.
And now he gets his happy ending.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
He's
is there
the only one that sacrificed so much.
is there anyone is
He's
there
Captain America. He's America's ass.
He is America's,
America's
ass.
ass.
Is there anything else about the movie that you thought about leaving, or was it just the crying part?
No, my favorite part of the movie was when Captain America so dramatically said, "Avengers, assemble."
Oh yeah, and he whispers it.
And then they all come out of their magical time
I think
holes.
Justin was the one that said to me that he wished he said it louder. I said, well, I mean, they get it. They understood that was what's happening right there. I
Yeah.
don't think he had to shout it.
That
I feel
was-
like shouting it would have probably been hokier.
That was epic, though.
It was epic. That's why
Yeah.
I feel like it was done the perfect way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I could not have thought of a better way for him to say the line finally,
that
because he
was
never
so
says
cool.
it. That's the first time he says it in any of the movies.
Mhm.
Okay, Morgan, how did you cope after this movie?
I didn't even cope. I'm still just
You're
getting over
You're
it.
still
Distraught,
recovering.
Still recovering. So I literally cried starting with Black Widow, and from then on I just cried the
You
entire
just
time.
kept crying the whole movie.
I literally just kept crying from then on. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I completely lost my shit though when you heard Falcon come back online.
Oh yeah.
And he was like on your left, and you
Yes.
see that.
Mhm.
And
That
then
was
like
epic.
everyone started. I
Yeah.
literally lost my shit.
And then the Avengers assembled.
Yeah, and then I just look over, and Mike is just sitting there. Like I know he was just like he knew that I was crying.
Yeah.
Like Mike, I sat in between Mike and Rob, and like they didn't even want to look at me because they knew.
They knew you were just sobbing.
They knew since Widow, I just could not keep it together, especially in that moment whenever I was just like I lost all control. So when we walked out, I literally just I couldn't even process what I just watched. I was too
Because you were
busy
crying so much.
You were
trying
just,
to
like,
get over
numb.
crying. Yeah, I was.
I felt a little
And-
numb too, like walking out. Like, what did I just watch?
I think that's
That's
kind of
me
how I
too.
felt. I think
Yeah.
my immediate reaction when I walked out was, "Holy shit, that was a lot."
yeah.
I have no idea how to process everything I
That's-
just absorbed.
yeah,
Which
literally.
is why you had to go back for round 2.
Yeah,
right?
I had to see it a second time. I saw it
Yeah.
twice. I saw it last Thursday. I saw it opening day, and then I saw it the week after.
You and Justin had a mandate.
We did have a mandate.
It's
and
too
we-
soon to see it again for me.
Really?
Too
Too soon?
soon.
Is it
Too
too
soon.
long, or you just don't want to deal with that
It's
again?
just I can't deal with that again. That was too emotional.
I think I would like to see it again too because sometimes, like, there was just so much, like, time stuff.
Oh yeah, the time
Yeah.
travel got a little hokey.
Yeah,
So-
that got confusing. To
As
me.
it was, as it would, because time
Yeah.
travel is confusing.
Yeah.
Which is great because so I've had so many different conversations with people about this time travel shit, and people are like, well, what about this? And then what about this? And my response every time is, well, time travel is fake, so who cares?
Yeah.
Every time, that's my response.
true.
And I'm honestly just making
Yeah.
a joke. But then I just heard an interview yesterday with the directors, and the guys and the one interviewer asked the directors. So I had a couple of these questions about the time travel, and I swear to God, one of the directors looks at her and goes, well, time travel is fake, so it doesn't... I was like, fuck yeah!
That is great.
Looks like my theory is right,
That's
that you're all
amazing.
fucking nerds. Who
You should've
cares?
speculated that.
Yeah. that time travel's fake, who cares? Yeah. You can do whatever you want. That's the glory of time
Yeah,
travel.
They made up the rules.
It's a writing cop-out, yes, because it's the cop-out way to fix a problem, but it's fake, so who cares how they do it? It's just gonna happen, so accept it. You're in a comic book movie, just go along for the fucking ride, because that's what this movie was. It was like a roller coaster through Marvel past. You were just
Yeah.
traveling through all the old movies, looking at all the great tourist spots, like Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
Who fucking knew we were going back to that movie? I definitely did not think we were revisiting that one.
Ugh,
Ever.
I'm so salty about Thor.
What about
So,
Thor?
He
I-
Made
was
you salty.
not done justice
No,
in this
he
movie.
was not done justice.
He was
at
not
all.
Thor in this movie.
I think you are both horribly incorrect.
I thought it was funny at first.
Yeah.
And it's like a good comic relief.
But he was comic relief for the whole movie.
No.
Yeah,
on
and
the-
that was ridiculous.
On the
Like,
surface, I totally see what you guys are saying because yes, he shows up and like as a comedy beat, he's fat. I get it. That's
Yeah.
that's supposed to be funny. It was obviously
I
supposed to be
don't,
funny.
I don't care if he's like a fat guy, but like he wasn't like his personality too wasn't Thor. Like I get why they made him like fat. I'm not like, oh my god,
No.
Chris Hemsworth wasn't hot.
But the
Oh.
That
fat.
was disappointing.
Oh my god.
Relax. There's more to that man than just his looks.
but the fatness is 100% related to the character. That was the whole idea, and that's what I thought was actually really great, especially going back and watching it a second time. You really pick up and realize that Infinity War Thor loses everything, and he
Yeah.
fucks up everything by not killing Thanos, and it completely breaks him in the first 10 minutes of this movie.
And I understand that, and I respect that whole thing. But by the end of it, especially after the conversation with his mother when they revisited Dark World,
Yeah.
he should have got his shit together, and he still didn't.
Well, what do you mean he should have got his shit together? How did he not get his shit
Like,
together?
He should have been back to a six-pack.
No.
No, I'm not talking about
Not
like
at
six,
all
he
what
can't
we're
just
talking
be like
about.
six pack with his
I thought
axe.
so when he like
Hammer, activate,
Yeah,
six
six
pack.
what do you call it? Like he lightninged up or whatever. Like
Yeah, and he changed his beard.
I was gonna say leveled up, but that's not.
That's basically what he did, though. I mean,
I thought when he lightninged up, he was just gonna be Thor.
I liked that they kept him Fat Thor. It also helps the final fight because if you watch that movie and you have six pack Super Thor with that hammer, well, not with the axe fighting Thanos, Thor kicks the shit out of him every time
Yeah.
because he beats the shit out of him in the last movie when Thanos had all of the fucking Infinity Stones. So this movie has none of the Infinity Stones,
Yeah.
but he has to stand a threat to the Avengers. So what better way
And
to
get rid
even
of-
the odds?
yeah.
You make Thor not the strongest Thor that he could possibly be. He's fat, he's out of
Yeah.
shape, he's also really broken down mentally.
Yep.
So it evened the odds in that sense.
I
So
get it.
I can watch that last fight and go, why isn't Thor just killing him right now? Because they made Thor weaker in this movie, and I thought that actually helped the progression of the story.
It drew out the conflict of the story.
Thank you, Kaylin.
You're welcome.
I
Morgan
don't know.
has something
I
to say.
mean, I see what you're saying and I agree with it, but like he's still like I don't know. I just feel like after the conversation with his mother, like he should have like woken up and be like, I'm fucking Thor. Like I need to.
I think you took a different. What the fuck am I trying to think of?
Like you wanted him to snap out of it.
You
Yeah,
took a different thing from that conversation. I took it as the mom telling him like, "Hey, you made mistakes. That's fine, but just keep being you." And the Thor we've seen is the Thor from Ragnarok more so is like the happy-go-lucky, jokey
Yeah.
kind of Thor, and he was that the entire movie really.
But he wasn't. He was just a. I don't know.
Okay,
Agree to disagree.
all right, sure.
I don't know.
I really liked Thor in this movie. I thought Thor was, he was awesome in Infinity War, and I think he's awesome in this. I think he's up there for MVP of both movies,
Yeah,
and I guess
I mean-
we'll get to that conversation
Yeah.
on as to like who really takes away the trophy of this movie, and I think we're all gonna agree on who that is. But well, actually no, maybe Kaylin has a different answer, but
I think I have the same answer.
Oh my heart.
I think especially after seeing it a second time, this movie definitely could have been about 20 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
The first time, I was all in for the entire bit of it. I don't think I was bored one single second of this movie. Go ahead.
When were you bored?
I was actually bored in the beginning.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Watching it the first time, like, I really do want to know how these people reacted to this horrifying event. And I liked the killing of the Thanos in the beginning of the movie. Of the Thanos.
Yeah.
The killing Thanos part in the beginning of the movie, I thought that was great.
And
But
it
then
just
it just kept going.
It just got like, there was like a lull.
Yeah, it was a lull.
And I was like, this is like when Widow like has them all like up and like they're like going through like 5 years later and stuff. I was just like, this is really annoying. Like I
Stop fucking crying.
no, like I like to see where everyone's at, but like
Avengers Assemble.
Get to
like-
that part already.
yeah, like they played that out. And then they present the Hulk, and then I really was like,
You weren't a big fan of
No.
Professor Hulk?
Professor Hulk.
Nope,
Not a fan either.
not a fan.
thought he was cute.
Morgan and I are on the same page here.
No.
I thought he was really annoying. I thought he was really cringy.
Yes.
I didn't find anything he said funny at all.
No.
In the entire movie.
Same thing about what you said about Thor, though, is that they
Oh, yeah?
made Hulk weaker because Hulk is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which that
Even regular strong Hulk, though, got his ass kicked by Thanos.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't have mattered. But in this
he
movie,
didn't do anything.
yes.
They
Well,
didn't have him do anything
I
except
mean,
put the thing on his
yeah,
hand.
he did the snap. That was pretty much
That was it.
the
And
best thing he was for.
And he got the time stone. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, he talked
but
to
he-
the ancient one.
Yeah,
Sure.
but he
Yeah,
did
I
it-
guess that's
I mean,
something.
I mean, he did it as Bruce Banner, so I
Yeah.
appreciated that. He didn't
Yeah,
do it
that
as,
was
like,
nice.
The Hulk thing.
That he wasn't just the Hulk the entire
But
movie.
we
Yeah.
didn't get a Bruce Widow.
A Bruce Widow.
We didn't
Bruce,
get a Bruce
and
Black Widow. Yeah.
Remember how they were a
Oh,
thing
I
in
was
the
like,
other movie?
I was like, who's
We didn't
Bruce
get a
Bruce
Bruce
Widow.
I was like, who is
Bruce
that?
Widow. It's Bruce Springsteen's older brother.
Yeah.
No, they weren't because they're
Bruce
not going
Wayne,
to have her.
Bruce Widow. Oh, different movie. Wrong chat.
Oh my god.
They're not going to have her all of a sudden like start something back up and then they're just going to kill her.
Yeah, I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying, but I think they kind of just backed away from it entirely after he
I
left.
feel like that was a missed opportunity. That would have been so. That would have been like.
You
That would have been like a Game of Thrones move.
Wouldn't
Get
it
them
have?
together, happy
Oh,
ending,
and then have- yeah.
kill 'em.
Well, I guess that was kind of the idea where they got reunited and
Yeah.
then they separated after the snap and then they got reunited again
That would have been fucked.
But,
and
like,
then she was dead.
But she also was really hurt because he just took off and then never tried to communicate. So she was hurt. So why would she go back?
He was in the doghouse.
Yeah, but it's Black
So,
Widow,
you
so
know.
fuck her. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Anyways,
Rude.
What did you think about Hawkeye, guys, with his super cool tat?
super cool.
Ugh,
It was super
he
cool. It was a Ronin
I
tat.
think this was the best he's ever looked in
He's
them.
dreamy.
He
Ooh.
was so good looking in this one.
I heard a lot of shit talk about that haircut.
Yeah, that was a little too young
Galen's
for him.
thinking about it.
That haircut was a little too young for him.
You'd still
but
do
he
it.
still looks delicious.
You'd still do it.
He still looks delicious though.
Okay, well, yeah, I like Jeremy Renner in this movie. I thought the opening was great with him
Yes.
losing
and
his
his
family.
family.
I thought it was
Yeah.
very tastefully done.
I
How
thought
you didn't
so,
watch
too.
them turn to dust, but
Yes.
the camera kind of like spun around and they were gone.
Yeah.
It was tasteful.
I just feel bad. His
If
entire
there's a
family
tasteful way to
wasn't
kill
worthy.
people,
Children, kill children.
kill children. If there's a tasteful way to do it, they did it.
Oh God.
Quick question. So everyone that got brought back from the snap, what about the ones that were in the planes? Did they just start falling from the sky?
The planes?
Oh,
Because when you got brought back
they
from the snap, you got brought
disappeared.
back where you were disappeared from.
Oh, so
what were
they-
if they in the sky?
Oh shit.
That's terrifying.
Plot hole.
Yeah.
That's what I'm-
I didn't even think of that. That's terrifying. They're like mid going
Yeah,
down and then
yeah.
everyone's screaming and they're like
They die all
"Shit,
over
I just
again."
woke up.
They
and-
die all. Yeah, exactly. That's what I figured. I figured you'd come back and all of a sudden their bodies just hitting the fucking cars in front of you, and there are people inside cars that maybe like on train tracks, and then the train comes back and then you're killed instantly.
Hey,
I guess that kind of goes right into what I want to talk about, and
This
that's
is morbid.
before we start gushing, because we're not really gushing yet, but there's a lot to gush about.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just cover some of the things we didn't like, just real quick, because I don't think there's a whole lot. I mean, I could probably get into a whole hour conversation about some things that are weird about this movie, but altogether, this is easily one of the best MCU movies,
Yeah.
next to Infinity War. I think Infinity War is a better movie,
Yeah.
because Infinity War I don't think is boring at all the entire time. That movie just moves the whole way through.
I don't think there was anything I disliked about this movie.
Well, like I said, I guess Morgan has an important phone call to take. That looked like it was a different area code, though. She's
Yeah.
about to get scammed.
Yep.
Anyways.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll find out in a couple minutes.
I really don't think there was anything I disliked about this movie.
Well, like I said, the runtime,
Yeah. that thing was
rewatching
long.
it, there were scenes we could have cut. I think that would have helped add to the drama. So, how was the telemarketer conversation you just had?
So this is the second time this phone number has called me today, so that's why I was like,
Oh, you just wanted to.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't.
But it was
anything.
no one.
But it was no one.
Oh, of course it was.
But it's just weird that the same number called me twice in one day.
Got it.
So sorry,
Maybe it was
guys.
Thanos trying to explain the situation here.
Oh, maybe
Ooh.
that Thanos and speed dial. Got that.
Oh my
Snap.
Oh my god. Yeah, the time travel thing, like I said, who cares? I'm not going to question anything they did because out of all the time travel movies I've seen, this movie does it pretty damn well. They cover their grounds. They explain what they have to do, and then they basically, I don't know why you're showing me something off the fucking microphone right now to distract me.
Because Johnny insulted you. So
I don't
thought
care.
you'd wanna know.
We're trying to do a fucking podcast. Let's get professional. And I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Kaylin. You're a piece of shit.
You were talking about time travel. They did
Time
it well
travel.
with explaining
Yeah,
everything.
I think out of all the time travel movies I've seen, they actually did a pretty decent job explaining what they were supposed to do and how it was supposed to work.
I thought the time travel machine was awesome.
I love the whole time travel plot.
Yeah.
That whole section of the movie, I love.
Yeah.
The one
Sorry.
thing I thoroughly enjoyed though was all the references to like the time travel movies.
Yeah.
Like, Back to
Yeah.
the Future.
They just go right into it.
Yeah, like I love that.
I did think of something that I didn't like. I hate Ant-Man.
You hate Ant-Man?
Yeah.
That's kind of
I
funny.
hate Ant-Man. I never saw his movies because I think his story is dumb.
Is he kind of like what Professor Hulk was for us? Like he was just cringy? Like he didn't like anything said?
Cringy, like unnecessary, like, just like the annoying little brother that like shouldn't be there but has to hang around.
Although he does kind of save the world.
Yes.
The universe, actually.
But fuck him.
Okay.
Okay.
And the Wasp.
Wow. Just because she's associated with him.
I think he's dumb.
Well, he thinks you're dumb.
I just
Yeah.
think
So.
he's dumb. I don't like Ant-Man.
I agree.
Well,
I think
Ant-Man
Kalen's
doesn't
dumb.
like you, so.
I actually
Why
like
is he
him.
called Ant-Man? He gets big too.
Yeah, when he gets big, he's Giant Man. Get it? That's what it is. I'm not joking. Kalen's mind actually looks legitimately blown.
Well, because
That's real.
Because I show my kids this show on YouTube
She
where
doesn't actually have kids.
my students.
Thank you for clarifying. You're not kidnapping children and putting them in your basement.
I show them on YouTube this show where they're all made out of words. So there was an episode where all the characters are made out of words. So the ant is made out of A.
Yes, got it.
They're all made out of words. So then the ant is like really upset that all of his friends are bigger than him and he's just an ant. He's little, and so then the pig figures out that if you just add GI to ant, he
no
grows.
fucking idea where you were going with that, and you brought it around.
He grows. He becomes giant.
And then the pig turns to Giant
And then he
says, "We're in the Endgame now."
But then he realizes that he's not meant to be big because he's not good at hide and seek anymore.
So it's really a journey about self-discovery.
Exactly.
And
About who
self-appreciation.
he really is and who he's meant to be.
And that doesn't make you appreciate Ant-Man anymore?
No.
Okay. What about you, Morgan? What did you hate about this movie?
I just Hulk and Thor.
Hulk and Thor.
No, there was something else, but I can't freaking remember.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple things that I
there was something else.
was
that
thinking
I
about.
Gamora was annoying in this
You're
movie.
annoying.
Gamora was annoying in this movie.
She was annoying.
Yeah.
How is she annoying?
How is she annoying?
Because she wasn't.
That's the whole point of this conversation. Tell us what you feel.
Because Gamora in the movie wasn't like Gamora, like from the last movie. It was like past
Oh,
Gamora.
it was almost like it was a different Gamora entirely.
I know, but it was
almost like she didn't
annoying.
have
Why
that
was it
transformation in like the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Because
Yeah.
I like Gamora.
Gamora's dead though, so you have to
Yeah.
deal with the new Gamora
It's not
because
even
that's
a
the
new
whole point.
Gamora,
It is though. It's
but it's not.
they
new.
explain it. It's a different timeline, so it's an entirely different person. So they have to. It's not like they pulled Gamora back.
Also, I couldn't understand how Nebula shot herself and still survived.
I just explained it
Did
because
you?
that's a different Gamora. I mean, a different Nebula from a different timeline. They explain it in the movie
They-
that
Alright.
everything that's happening in the past can't change. So a present person can't die from your past self dying. You can only
But it's still.
Oh.
yeah, you were apparently that here's where the time travel thing gets crazy. Apparently you can take items out of the past, put them in your present, change your present, go back to the past and fix the past. But the past doesn't become your present.
Yes.
And that's the T.
And that's I actually just explained this fucking movie 100%.
But
Don't
then
at me.
it's- But then it's. What?
I said don't at me.
But then it's still the same Gamora.
No, it's
Yes,
not.
but
It's
it
a different
is.
Gamora.
No, listen.
I'm
this is
listening.
where
I'm trying to
going.
listen to you, but you're not making sense, Morgan.
You just said that your past doesn't change,
Sure.
so Nebula can kill her past self.
Yes.
Correct.
Because it's a different Nebula.
But but it's not.
Yes, it is. It's a different Nebula because when she went to the past, her present is still her present. The past is a different timeline in general.
But
They went to a different universe.
Oh.
It's multiverse theory. That's the idea.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
understand.
a multiverse.
I didn't understand. Okay.
When I say different
Okay.
timeline, I mean different universe.
Oh,
It's a
okay,
different
okay.
universe because it's all parallel universes. And then our universe, our MCU universe, has its own timeline with the snap and everything.
Yes.
That all happens. Gamora is dead. Black
Yes.
Widow's dead.
Yes,
But in
I
other
know this.
timelines, these people exist still. So you can go back and apparently grab them and pull them into your timeline. And now I guess they don't exist in that timeline, but they are still from that timeline. It's not the same Gamora you knew in this timeline. It's a totally different person. That's why in the new Guardians movie they're gonna go find her and she's gonna be similar to the first Guardians Gamora, but she changed her mind really fast, so maybe she'll be nicer. Who knows?
But quick question.
Let's hear your question, Morgan.
So I don't know how to explain this.
Well, aren't
it
I
has
supposed
to-
to explain if you're asking me the question?
No, but I'm trying to. I have to explain my question.
Okay, go ahead.
So you're saying it's a different universe.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
if it's with timelines,
Uh-huh.
how do they go to a different universe if it's on just a timeline?
So
Because hold on.
Oh.
Hold on.
I'm so
I
sorry.
ain't done. Because let's take Cap's transformation.
Yeah.
So Cap was like this scrawny, skinny guy, and
Yeah.
now he's like this buff.
Big old buff
Man,
man.
God.
Man's
Yeah.
man. America's ass. We know.
Well, yeah, he's America's ass now. So if
An
he-
Ant-Man joke, by the way. Best
Yes.
joke of the movie.
What you gotta say about him now?
Nobody saw my eye roll.
So if he went back,
Yeah.
how is his scrawny self is in a different multiverse then?
His scrawny self always becomes Captain America, though.
But like, I don't know how to explain this.
I don't know what you're
question.
trying to say.
I feel like it's still them because your past self, you obviously change as you like
Yeah.
move forward and like you develop as like a person and stuff. So wouldn't that still be the same Gamora? She obviously just isn't as developed as she was because she didn't have those experiences yet. That's what I'm trying to get at instead of like a different multiverse.
Are you talking about like her personality?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like in those specific timelines, like obviously she didn't have those experiences with the
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy yet, so she couldn't make that transformation to the Gamora that she is. So wouldn't it still be the same Gamora, just not? She just hasn't taken those steps yet because she had like.
Here's what I'm
those like specific points in time.
Here's what I'm gonna say, Morgan. You're 100% right in your thought process, but you're overthinking it.
Okay.
You're right.
Story of my life.
The Gamora that we find by the Gamora that joins this timeline by the end of this movie
Yes.
is gonna sound and act a whole lot like the other Gamora, but physically they are two different people. That's my point, and it's as simple as that.
Also,
And that does make sense to me.
I don't know how. There's no pleasing you.
also, time travel isn't real, so who cares?
Thank you, Caleb. Big high five right there.
Yeah.
All right. And that kind of leads to the last final gripe, but I think this kind of
I have a
explains itself.
Can you let him finish?
Sorry, go
This
ahead.
kind of explains itself. How does Steve Rogers in this whole multiverse thing end up back on that bench? If he goes to a different timeline?
I
The
also have
idea
other issues
is-
with this.
The idea, I guess, and after watching it a second time, because this is what I was looking for, because I was really frustrated and weirded out by it.
I questioned it too, for sure.
The second time I saw it, and I focused heavily on what the Ancient One was saying about the stones being taken out of their timeline and being put
And
back.
the-
So when Steve went and put everything back, the timeline re-merged, and he was able to join back his timeline. But then...
He doesn't show up on the thing. And
Yeah,
they said that
but-
he shoots right past.
But then they talk about multiverse theory, which means he has to be in a different universe with Peggy. So how does he get back from that universe to this universe? So the other theory is, remember when he went to the 1970s and he took the extra Pym particles?
yes.
He took like 4,
Yeah.
but he only needed 2.
Yeah.
So the idea is he used the extra ones to get back to the MCU timeline at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Just to say goodbye. And then he shot back to his old time. I think that's the idea. Yeah.
I think
I
that.
wouldn't see
But
it.
it's also very confusing.
I think also
I mean,
that.
you saw him take the pin particle, so you know he was up to something.
Yeah, but it leaves it up to interpretation. And my interpretation is that. I don't know if it's the truth.
I would have the same one.
I'm just
because
assuming.
that's the only logical thing you can get from that movie.
But I think that the fact that these people who time travel can remember everything is an issue too, because then it's like, how does the fact that you remember each different timeline and each different universe that you visit affect it?
Because it's your present.
Well, what are you
self.
talking about?
Like the fact that Steve, well, that Captain America, when he went back to pull the Infinity Stones back, he went through his whole new timeline and still remembered the old one.
Because
That's just who he was. The Steve Rogers we know from the Avengers, Infinity War, and so on and so forth, that's the same Steve Rogers we saw at the end of that movie. He just jumped through time as himself, as his present self, who has the memories of all the shit that's already happened.
Yeah.
Your present does not change from the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
That confused me because
Well, time travel is confusing.
And
It's also fake, and who cares? So,
Can I do
hold on. Kaylin had a gripe. Let's get to that. What was your last gripe?
I mean, not so much of a gripe, but like I didn't see Captain Marvel.
Oh, who fucking cares? She's boring.
She just
Moving on.
She was disappointing. Like
She
that
is
was my
disappointing.
gripe. She was in the movie for like a whole 10 minutes for no reason.
Her whole character is incredibly disappointing. Her movie was
Yeah.
disappointing, and also her super special ability is breaking ships. So this movie nailed it. I think they hit every aspect of her character in
That they needed.
in her two scenes. That she has short hair and she can fly through ships really well. She took that headbutt from Thanos, and that was really cool looking.
Yeah.
But other than that,
She
who cares?
also took the impact from the.
Power Stone?
Yeah.
But everyone can do that.
No.
The fucking Guardians did that in the last movie.
Actually, it was Peter that took it.
No, they all took it.
But then
Well, four of them
they
took it.
expanded, so he didn't have to take it all.
No, I'm not talking about the Guardians movie. I'm talking about Infinity War. Thanos shot the beam of
Oh, yeah.
power at all of them,
No, right.
and they just fell. Anyways, Morgan, you had something else to say?
This is a debate
Oh boy,
for me.
you're with yourself?
You were just the emoji,
Yeah. It's with
No one
myself.
knows what the fuck you're talking about.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
All right.
And I've
Let us
had-
know in the
so
comments what you thought
I've had-
Kaylin was doing.
I've had this debate with myself, and I've had this debate with Rob,
Okay.
and now I need to bring it to your guys' attention, mostly Zach's.
Fuck you,
That
Kaylin.
was rude. I
Whatever.
saw the movie.
You don't like Ant-Man. Nobody cares about your opinion.
Exactly. Your opinion is null and void now.
Is this gonna be another thing?
Yeah, like Yelp. Inside jokes. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I thought Cap couldn't age.
Oh, we talked about
Oh, good question, Morgan. Who cares?
I
comic
do.
books.
I do because it pisses me off.
this. Didn't
because
we
I
talk
thought-
about this at Game of Thrones last weekend? Didn't we talk about it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
were like
remember.
Captain America couldn't age because of the serum.
What does this have to do with the conversation?
Sorry.
Progress the conversation in the podcast in current time.
Sorry.
Don't go back to the
This
past.
was
It
just-
doesn't change the present.
This was just an issue I had because I didn't think he could age.
I think you're onto something here, but I really didn't even think about it.
Because
I can't.
he hasn't aged in any of the movies
Sure.
since he was unfrozen.
And
I
the idea his
get-
super serum is
Yeah.
it makes him
His cells regenerate.
Yeah, his
fast.
health
It's
is
not like
at its
it's not like
perfection.
he's
Immortal.
Wolverine and like can heal himself, but like his.
I think that's the difference though, because Wolverine has the self-healing ability, so
Yeah.
that even old age doesn't affect him.
Yeah, but, like-
because that's a sickness that he heals over
Yeah.
time, so he can never really age.
Yeah, but like my point to it, like I get he was on ice because that was like Rob's thing. He's like he was on ice, so he was frozen. I was like, but he hasn't been on ice in forever.
In 70 years.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't been on ice in like
Something like
10 years. Yeah.
Whatever, in quite some time he wasn't on ice.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
And I was like, well, Bucky hasn't aged either. But Rob was like, well, he's been in and out of ice, which I completely understand that. But they haven't shown him age in any of the movies. He still looks exactly the same, and it's been
Well, he's
years
aging
upon
as much as
years.
Chris Evans is aging because
Chris
it's
Evans
the
doesn't
actor.
age.
I
He's a
understand.
fine wine.
Yes.
Thank you,
I
Kaylin.
understand that, but like I just
Thank
thought
you for your
'cause
contribution.
he also can't get drunk.
Yes,
So that's where I was going with it. If he can't get drunk, like how?
that's the first thing that popped in my head when you said that, because that's immediately what I think of is
Yeah.
that scene
I was
where he
like,
talks about that.
How did he get so old?
I think you're onto something, but here's a thing to take into account.
Time travel's not really.
No. No. This is real. So Peggy Carter is super old and super dead by the time we meet her in the present,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Completely withered. She has Alzheimer's or whatever. She's dead as dicks by the time we see her again.
I hate that.
We can now compare that she would be the same age as Steve Rogers was on that bench, right?
Yeah.
He was totally fine on that bench, and he actually looked decent.
Yeah.
So I'm saying
That he ages.
he
Slowly,
did age,
but just very slowly.
like even at 90, what a human being's 90-year-old would be. He still looks good, and he still looks like he can move around just fine.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is part of the super serum.
Okay.
So there you go. Problem solved.
It's,
10 out of 10 movie.
I just feel like he shouldn't age.
I think you're onto something, but him not aging kind of plays with his actual powers, because he doesn't have powers. He's just a dude with super strength.
Yeah. I respect it. It's
Okay, real quick. What do we like? Big favorite parts. Kaylin said hers already. Avengers Assemble. Did you have any other favorite parts, Kaylin?
My other favorite part was when my speculations came true.
Okay, we'll get to that. But I guess Kaylin's done now talking about her favorite parts.
No, that was like really my favorite part. Like, I don't know.
You really paid attention to this fucking $3 billion grossing movie just so that you can see Gamora take a right step? Oh my god. What a waste of a movie ticket.
Why is she on?
I have no fucking idea why we brought you here.
This is my house.
You need to go home.
I said I liked the movie. It was a good movie.
Well, I can't disagree with you because it's not amazing, but it's definitely a good movie. So I have really specific favorite moments, like when Cap picks up Mjolnir.
Oh, same.
When he
Oh,
gets
the hammer?
Yeah.
That was a good part.
that was fucking awesome, and the whole sequence following where
He
he beats
was
the shit out of
worthy.
Thanos and he does
Yeah.
the combos,
Mhm.
was awesome. That was
Where
just
Thanos broke his shield too. I was like,
that
oh,
looked
okay.
cool.
I thought Cap. Was
Thanos'
fine.
helicopter spin move was really interesting and weird.
Oh yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you're talking about.
his
Took me a minute.
he was backing up everybody's powers with his
Yeah.
super sword or whatever. Avengers Assemble obviously is gonna live on forever. I loved Iron Man's last line being, "I am Iron Man." I thought that was awesome. Am I alone here? Am I the only one that thinks that?
It was
I
awesome.
I can't talk
Thanks,
about
Galen.
it.
Biggest thrill of my life.
Wow.
I can't talk
Unbelievable.
about him still.
Well, we're gonna have to because he's a big part of this fucking movie.
I think I really enjoyed the parts with him and his daughter. I think that was so sweet.
That was nice. I liked.
He finally has a baby.
Here's another. Okay.
I love her name.
Oh yeah. Morgan really won this movie,
Yeah.
I think,
I
because
did.
she's in the movie.
I am. I'm Tony Stark's daughter.
I love when Captain America says "Hail Hydra" in the
Yes,
elevator. That
yeah,
was a really
yes.
great callback. I love when he fights himself, which leads to America's ass.
Yep. When Tony gives himself a heart attack.
Tony gives himself a heart. Well, Ant-Man gives Tony a
Man
heart
gives
attack.
him a heart attack. Fuck him.
I don't think they can hear you, but you're just mumbling right now.
I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed like seeing everyone like come back, like how they.
It was
did
really
that.
well done.
Wakanda.
Yeah, I think that was.
Thanks, Kaylin,
Awesome.
again for your incredible contributions to this podcast you do every week. We're so happy to have you. Thank you.
And
I
you're
do do it every
Thank
week.
you. Thank you, Kaylin. Go ahead, Morgan.
You're probably not gonna care about this one, but
If it has to have something to do with time travel, you know how I feel.
no. For all the feminists out there,
Oh shit!
when they brought all
Yeah.
the Marvel women together
Girl power.
to go against Thanos, I was like,
I'm not even gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try to pretend I didn't love that moment. It was really well
phenomenal.
done. What
And
could have
I-
been a super eye-rolly, cringy moment,
Yeah.
I think it worked fine.
It was perfect.
I think they did it really well, and I love how the women, like, help Peter Parker,
Yes,
Spider-Man,
yeah.
like through all. He
Yeah.
goes from woman to woman of the MCU.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
And I love Peter Parker. He's got a special place in my heart.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a lot of fun how much more time the people that were dead got on the movie.
Yeah.
In the end, like, they actually got a decent amount of time to be back and do things.
Yeah.
That was actually really interesting. I liked the whole last 45 minutes of this movie is fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. There's just so much cool shit that happens at the end of that movie. Mm-hmm. Right, Kaylin? Right?
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Kaylin.
I just thought of another, like, issue I had.
Oh. We're back on the issues. Maybe we hate this movie,
A
actually.
gripe?
No.
A gripe, if you
I
will.
thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
I'm going to call the title of this video our gripes of Avengers. The gripes of wrath. That was
That's a good one.
That was a literature joke that really got Galen. She's crying.
Amazing.
So it goes back to
my
Ant-Man
God.
giving
Yeah.
Tony a heart attack. When did Loki get the Tesseract and disappear?
Oh, yeah. See, that's a different Loki. That's a different timeline. So that Loki is going to be alive.
Can I tell you a theory that I had? It didn't come true.
She really just like opened her eyes really wide.
Yeah, I think this is like crazy conspiracy theory, Morgan.
No, but
she's going to tell us how the fucking Earth is flat. Go ahead,
Towards
Morgan.
the end, towards the end, I'm gonna bring it there. I have to talk
The
about
flat
it.
Earth?
Oh.
Oh, Iron Man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Continue.
So I was really hoping, like, I was bawling my eyes out, but then I had this thought in my head, and I was really hoping for this. I was really hoping that it was actually Loki.
That did the
because
snap.
he took the Tesseract, and I was like, he's gonna come back. And then as Tony's laying there after the snap,
Choking
and
to
I was
death.
like, this is Loki.
It's not Loki. It's not Loki.
I was like, this is Loki. It has to be Loki. It can't be Iron Man. It has to be Loki. And then he wasn't changing.
Oh, no.
And then
That made it worse for yourself,
it
actually.
made it so much
You went through the stages of grief. You went through denial.
Yeah.
I did.
Heavily you went through
I
denial.
really did. And then when Pepper
Yeah.
like actually knelt down in front of him and was like talking to him,
Yeah.
I was just like,
You knew it was
it's
over.
not Loki. And I lost it even more.
What is her power?
You're
I don't know who
adorably
she
naive.
is.
She's
Pepper
just
Potts?
female Iron Man in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
She
doesn't have powers.
They
She just-
finally put her in a suit, and
Yeah.
it was phenomenal.
Yeah, in the comics she's called Rescue, which hilariously doesn't have weapons on it. But in this movie it has laser beams and everything.
You know what?
But
More power to
she
her.
is technically a superhero in the comics too, but she had the same suit, but this one has lasers. So she was able to kill things.
Cool.
I thought it was like about time
props
they put her in a suit.
To I was gonna call her Gwen Stefani. What's her name? Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Props to Gwyneth Paltrow because boy did she make that scene 1,000 times better with her acting.
Yeah.
That could have what could have been a really hokey, weird scene of Tony Stark just drifting off to death. She carries it because he doesn't say anything. He's fried. He's melted at that point.
Yeah.
But she delivers the "You can rest now" line, and then he drifts off, and then she starts crying. It's really well done.
It's too much.
It's really, really well done. I have to give the
It was
props
a
for it,
good
too.
death.
'Twas a good death. 'Twas expected, but 'twas a good
No,
death.
it was not.
Just,
I did not.
You were the
expect
only
it.
human being on this planet that didn't think Tony Stark was gonna die.
I didn't think he was going to. I thought it was going to be Cap.
I was waiting for it to happen the whole movie.
I thought it was legitimate.
Well, I didn't think it was gonna be Cap, which leads us
See,
to our predictions. What?
I didn't see it being Iron Man. I literally thought it was going to be Cap that died. I was preparing for Cap to die, and then plot twist for me.
Well, yeah.
And
Thought
then I
it
thought
wasn't
it was Loki.
It wasn't
And then it
Loki.
was another plot twist in and of itself that I created.
You done goof there, Morgan.
All right, guys.
I was holding out hope. Okay.
Let's do this. This
Okay.
is the moment of truth.
Yep.
Okay.
For the last however many weeks, we can't decide on a real number. I'm going to say 17. For the last 17 weeks, every week, at the end of each podcast, we've made predictions in the Avengers 4 speculation section. So now, this will be...
You've made 13 predictions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That doesn't mathematically add up.
It
Oh,
doesn't matter
you know
what
what?
math.
We didn't do it for 2 of the Game of Thrones podcasts.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. So that's still 15.
So then this would probably be number 16.
Yeah.
Although I
Anyway,
still
let's-
think that's untrue.
let's do math.
Doesn't
Let's
matter. So we've made a bunch of fucking predictions. So I went through the painstaking effort of going back and listening to each and every podcast, and I wrote down each prediction from everybody that's been on the
I
podcast.
only had one.
And
was easy.
if Justin's listening, which he totally isn't,
Yep.
but if Justin's listening, we did not include our Avengers 4 prediction podcast because the idea of the speculation section was a one singular
Yeah.
prediction. It's not a grand theory, because if this was all about grand theories, Justin would have won. Because if you go back and listen to that prediction podcast, he literally predicts the first hour and a half of this movie. Exactly how it played out, which was very impressive. But that's not how we're playing this, so you fucking lost, bud.
His other predictions didn't happen, right?
Yeah, no, he doesn't get any of those ones right.
Yeah.
So, we'll start, I guess we'll go down the line and just
Okay.
do our tally them up. Does someone want to tally?
I don't even have it on my phone.
Who fucking
You
cares?
guys have the.
Who
You guys
cares?
have
Let's
the.
You
just-
have it. Okay, you keep it on your phone. I'll
And
keep it,
Kaylin's going to tally. Okay.
I'm
So
just gonna say
my first prediction was Cap was going to be alive by the end of the movie. Ding. 1 point for me because he went back in time, and even when going back in time, they didn't do a scene where I got scared for a second when they went back in time and he wasn't coming back. I was like, don't you dare go to a grave, because then I'd be wrong and he'd be dead by the end of the movie. But no, he was alive. He got his last dance with Peggy. We'll get to that.
Oh my God.
So Cap
Mike.
Cap was alive. Point for me.
Got it.
Second prediction. I said Thanos will only be in 3 scenes. I was 1 scene off. I counted the second time. He was in the first scene, and then he has the last ending sequence, and then he has 2 scenes in the fucking middle. I was so close because I was trying to like finagle it in my head, like, okay, but he's only on that ship the entire time in the middle movie, so maybe that's considered 1 scene. No, I'll allow it. Enough time passes in between the 2 parts where I'll consider it 2 different scenes. Okay. But in that ending sequence, he's in that the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
one
that's
scene.
1 scene.
So 4 scenes, I was 1 off. Third prediction, and this is also unfortunately wrong, because I did not think Spider-Man was going to be in this movie as much as he was. I said Spider-Man was going to say nothing funny. I thought he was going to come back and just be all business, and he has 58 quips
Yeah.
as soon as he comes back to life.
Of course, it's Spider-Man.
Well, yes, I get that, but I thought more time was going to be given to the other people. So I was wrong about that.
You underestimate.
Here's a good one. Here's a good prediction I made that came 100% true. I said Iron Man would be the most significant and important death of the movie.
Yeah.
And they dedicated about a 10-minute funeral to him. So I'm going to say I got that one right.
Yeah.
I can't even. That funeral was just.
And here we go. Here's some fun ones. I said Farmer Thanos will not pick up any farming tools.
That was wrong.
Correct. What farming tool did he pick up?
Oh, he picked up actual.
He picked up
picked
fruit,
up a bucket.
but he picked up no tools.
Okay.
No tools were picked up.
Okay.
I said Keanu Reeves will not be in this movie. No, he was not. So that's 2 more points for me. I said, okay, so I said Gamora will punch Thanos in the dick.
That didn't happen.
I was wrong. She does kick Star-Lord in the dick twice, though.
Yeah.
So does that...
No.
No.
Okay.
Is Star-Lord Thanos? No.
No, well, I thought I give it a shot. Another big prediction that I got that I nailed in the last 5 minutes of this movie. There will be 1 dance break, and I specifically said in parentheses, someone will dance. Cap and Peggy have their dance at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Suck it twice. So,
just tell-
another point for me.
Side story.
Uh-huh.
When we were sitting in the movie theater and it was like zooming into the window, I already know what was gonna happen, but Mike literally leans over and he's like, Captain America and Peggy are gonna be dancing. I'm like, no shit.
No shit, Mike.
As I'm crying because I know it's gonna show up.
It would have been funnier if he leaned over and said, Thanos and Peggy are going to be dancing. All right, next one. I said there will be at least 1 X-Men cameo. I was wrong.
Wrongo.
I said they will set up the next
They
big
can't
bad of the MCU. I was wrong because I assumed it was going to be Galactus. I was really surprised with the fact that this movie was an actual end. There was no post-credits.
Yep.
It was just the end. It was
Yep.
the end of the Captain America story. It was the end of the Iron Man story. It's not really the end of the Thor story because he's going to go to the Guardians, which
But
is
he's
awesome.
not gonna have his own movie though.
But he's probably never going to have his own movie again. So it was a big old ending. I said, here's another interesting prediction that I'm going to say I got correctly. The OG Avengers will have 1 more hero shot like they did in the first Avengers. They literally just replayed the same shot from the first Avengers. So that's a point for me, I'm going to say.
Yeah, when they went back to New York City.
I said at least 1 person is going to say, oh my God. I think that happens like 5 times.
Yep.
So I'm going to say I got that one right. And then I said someone's going to drop the F-bomb. You know
No.
what? Big Missed opportunity, Disney. You should have went for it.
Oh my
You
gosh.
should have fucking went for it.
So Zach got a full 7 predictions.
7 points. All right, we're gonna go to Mike. He's the next longest amount of
Please hold.
predictions. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So right off the bat, Mike hits a big homer here because I did not expect this to happen, but he got
Yep.
it. He said Cap will cry one single tear out of that one specific eye, and he was 100% correct. Because it was after Black Widow died, and they were standing at the fucking dock or whatever.
Yeah.
That's when he cries that one single tear, like he does in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then he wells up throughout the rest of the movie, but he never actually drops a tear again. So
Being a bitch.
he said Pepper Potts will be alive. That's correct. Now,
That's
and I spoke to him about this.
I lost.
So
he told you.
he got close. He says Farmer Thanos will enjoy something from his garden.
He did.
He picks it up. He cooks it. He never eats it.
Oh my god.
I talked to Mike about it. He knew I was right. That is not a point for Mike.
So it was
he got close, but
so
he did
close.
not
It
eat
was
it.
so funny when they showed
Yes.
him like in like the field and stuff. I literally was like, I like whipped
yeah.
around to like look at Mike, and he's just smirking.
I was losing my fucking mind. In that moment, I was losing my
I
mind.
literally cracked up. When
I
saw it.
wanted him to be right. When he was
Yeah.
cooking, I was like, just take one bite.
Yeah.
Just take one bite so that Mike can be right. All right. He said Farmer Thanos will not wear overalls. That was true.
That was true?
he did not wear overalls, no. He said Farmer Thanos will regret killing his daughter. I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
He seemed pretty content with everything he did.
Because he said he was inevitable.
Yep.
Yeah.
He does say I am inevitable.
Yep.
Everything was going to happen anyway. He said there will be at least one slow motion scene. There was like 4. He said Rocket will be alive. That was true. He said Farmer Thanos will scream out in anger at least once. And I don't think he did. I think he screams out in pain
Yeah.
one
not in
time
anger.
when Scarlet Witch is lifting him up.
Yeah.
But never in anger. He seems pretty cool
No,
and collected.
He was in pain because she was like crushing.
And Mike's not here to defend himself, so fuck you, Mike.
Yep. You lose.
Incorrect. He said Farmer Thanos will stand over Captain America. He does do that, that's for sure. And then he said Farmer Thanos will not interact with Deadpool to try to get a layup here at the end, because obviously that wasn't going to happen, so that was correct.
Well, you had the stupid Keanu Reeves one.
Well, that's because in response to the shitty ones that Mike was doing.
Well, Mike and Zach are tied.
Wow,
with
we
7
came out
points.
tied. And guess what? Because I'm here and he isn't,
Zach wins.
I'll take the fucking W. All right, me and Mike had the most, so obviously no one's gonna really catch up. But let's go through everyone else's. The rest are quick here.
Bob.
Oh, Rob has the most next to Kalen, I think. Actually, Kalen, you have a few.
I only
Yeah.
have one.
If Rob gets all of these right, he'll be tied. All right. So he said he said Widow and Hulk will kiss at least once. They didn't. So
Wrong.
Rob lost.
Sorry, Rob.
He was correct in this though. He said Captain Marvel will be in no more than 10 minutes of the movie. He was absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
He said Tony Stark will cry at least once. I don't think he did.
Nope.
Does
I don't
Tony
think he
Stark
did.
cry in this movie? Morgan? Our resident crier here?
Did he cry when Widow died?
No, he was.
I don't think he cries when
no,
Widow
he
died.
didn't cry when.
And he doesn't cry when he comes back. He's angry
Yeah.
when he gets off the ship in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And he doesn't cry with his daughter. And I don't think he cries when
I feel
he
like
does the snap.
there was a moment where his eyes do like well up, but I don't know if he actually cries.
But what do we call him crying? We call him crying tears?
Tears.
Yeah.
So then no. I would say no.
I would say
Only
no,
because I wasn't
too.
really specific.
But he does get emotional at some parts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he also said Thanos is going to choke Tony Stark. He didn't. I don't think he did that once. Right?
I don't think so.
I
In the
don't
end,
think
when
so.
they're fighting for the gauntlet, I think
No,
they're
he
just
didn't
fighting for the
choke him.
gauntlet.
Yeah.
He said you will see popcorn in the movie.
No. We didn't
I don't
see
think anyone ate
We
popcorn.
didn't see any popcorn in the movie. We saw a peanut butter sandwich.
That's true. We did see Rob went, a
Done
little bit
goofed.
more weird with it.
Yeah.
He said Captain Marvel's friend will die. She wasn't even in the movie.
Nope.
So that didn't work out for him. And he said Tony Stark will be the last Avenger we see in the movie. That is incorrect.
So Rob has a resounding 1 correct.
Rob got 1
prediction.
correct.
Who's next?
Kalen! Here, Kalen. Now you can actually respond to me when I say things.
Okay.
You said Gamora will be back. Fucking layup. You got it. Easy point. You said Nebula and Gamora will kill Thanos. They did not. Were you upset about that?
Wrong. You're wrong.
Disappointing.
Was it
Mark it.
disappointing? I thought it was disappointing too. I think Nebula and Gamora deserved that
They
moment.
deserved it.
But for another way of going about it, pretty solid. Okay, here's a big one. Kalen predicted specifically, very specifically, Gamora's first step back on screen will be with her right foot, and I'm sure Kalen
And it
was staring directly at her legs in that
I
scene.
was waiting. Point for me.
The whole fucking movie. Kalen might as well have won this prediction contest because she got that stupid prediction correctly. You also said Hulk is going to smash something he's not supposed to. Yes, you're technically correct. Not Professor Hulk, but the old Hulk from the 2012's timeline bursts through the door and basically smashes Tony Stark.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he wasn't supposed to do that. So technically, Kalen was correct. We'll give you that one.
Well, actually, how do we know he wasn't supposed to do that? Because technically Tony wasn't supposed to be there because it's a different timeline.
But
That fucked
he-
up their entire plan. So no,
He didn't
wasn't
have
supposed to
any
do
idea
that.
that he was there.
Also, he would have done that to just a random innocent civilian, and you're gonna say he's supposed to do that?
Why not?
She just wants me to be
Yeah.
wrong.
He was supposed to
She
take the
just
stairs.
wants me to be wrong.
He took the
He
stairs,
took the
and
stairs.
he's the Hulk, and he has
I
anger
get
issues,
that
so...
one.
He wasn't happy about it. This one, I was pretty proud of Kalen for this one too. She said Captain America will get his shield back, which he does, and then he will lose it again,
Which he does.
So Kalen, another point for Kalen.
And then he gets it back.
And
again.
then he got it back again. You didn't say that though. You just said after getting it back, which he
Relax.
got, he'll lose it again, which he does.
All right.
But then he gets it back.
Okay.
You said, and here's your big finale. You said Star-Lord will kiss someone else.
Which
He
is
wasn't
dumb.
even in
He
the...
wasn't really in the movie.
Why would he kiss someone else?
Maybe... Well, wait a second.
Oh shit.
Who is he gonna kiss?
He kissed the old Gamora.
No, he didn't.
No, he
Yeah,
didn't.
he did.
He got really close to her, and
And
then
then
she
she
like
kicked
snapped
him.
his hand and kicked him
I
in the
thought
dick.
they kissed,
They
and then
did
she
not
said,
kiss.
"Don't touch me."
No.
She-
He got close to her,
Because
and
he
that's
was
when
like,
she
like
stopped
Gamora,
him.
and she kicked him in the balls and like broke his hand.
You know what, Kalen, though? I probably would have given it to you.
If we
After the
did.
whole debate about how this Gamora is a
Thank
different
you,
person,
thank
I
you.
probably would have given it to you, but they never actually kissed.
Yeah.
So that was incorrect. Kalen, your grand total.
I got 4.
Good job, Kalen.
Suck it, Rob.
All right, and here we go. Here we go for the last two people. We're going to go with Justin here. Justin has 2 predictions.
This one
Two
is so
specific Avengers speculation section predictions. He goes, his first one was, through the cosmic energy from fighting Thanos, Chris Evans, the actor, will come back as the character that he played in 2005
The Fantastic Four.
of the Fantastic Four movie, The Human Torch. That does not happen. Spoilers. Sorry, Justin. That didn't happen. So that was incorrect. So part of Justin's prediction that he made was that they were going to kill Thanos in the beginning and then go back in time and do that whole
Yeah.
shtick. So he predicted that Nebula was going to be the one that killed one of the people that kills Thanos. The 2 times that they killed Thanos.
Yeah.
She wasn't. She
Sorry,
didn't kill him
Nebula.
either times. Justin is wrong. 0 points.
0 points for Justin,
For
except for his
speculation
other one
section.
that was really cool.
Well, for his overarching theory, but that's
Yeah.
not part of the speculation section. So
Suck it.
you lost. Morgan has 1 prediction. Morgan has 1 simple, lovely prediction, and that was that Nebula was gonna kick some ass. And you know what, Morgan?
She did.
She totally did.
She did.
Good job. That's a
1
one.
point.
That's a 1 for 1 for Morgan,
Yeah.
though.
That was even
That's 100% accuracy.
way better than Rob. Rob made 7 predictions and got 1.
He made fun ones.
He tried.
There were some bullshit ones that Zach made, some bullshit ones Mike made.
Well, we
but
had to do this 17 times,
Exactly,
so,
so-
we did our best with what we had.
Off the top of your head. you
Yeah,
did
we tried.
questions.
I'm telling you guys, every one of those was off the top of our heads. I
Yeah,
don't think I
that's-
thought ahead of one of
Yeah,
those
that's
predictions.
Mine was full improv.
We're all so proud of you.
Yeah.
I really liked the stepping 1 foot one. I really liked the cap shield one. Those were good predictions.
And they came true.
And those 2 specific ones came true, but not 100% accuracy like Morgan.
I got 4 right. What else did I get right?
So
My level.
I'd say the winner would have to be Morgan, right? She's 100% accurate.
Morgan, yeah.
She got her 1 prediction correct out of her
One out
1
of 1.
prediction, so she wins.
Yeah, statistically.
Statistically, Morgan wins.
Yeah.
Because Mike and I did 7 out of what, 13?
Yeah.
That's like 50%. So, no, I don't think that cuts it.
No, you did it, Morgan.
Good job, Morgan. You are the winner of the Avengers 4 speculation section.
Insert applause. Woo.
All right, surprisingly, we're actually cutting this a little short. So you know what? I'm going to try something weird here.
Oh.
You guys weren't expecting this.
Oh.
So for the next 2 weeks, I want to have the Game of Thrones prediction panel.
Oh.
This will take over for the speculation section.
That was like another alliteration.
Thank
thing
you.
that
That's why I
there.
did that. So, for taking over for the speculation section for the next 2 weeks, because there's only 2 episodes of Game of Thrones left,
Yep.
I want us to do one singular prediction for the finale episode of Game of Thrones.
6.
Episode 6 of Game of Thrones, the finale episode. It's going to be like an hour and a half long.
Mm-hmm.
I think so is Sundays.
Yeah, who cares?
But I
So,
think the last 2 are gonna be an hour.
they're both going to be long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, my one singular prediction for the finale episode of Game of Thrones will be that Drogon will be alive by the end of the episode.
Okay.
I'm going big. I'm not going to go do a bullshit one. I'm sticking to my guns here and say Drogon lives till the end.
Oh, I'm going for a big one too.
Okay, go ahead, Kaylin.
Mine? Okay. My prediction is that Cersei's pregnancy is fake news.
Oh, fuck. Fake news.
It's huge.
Oh, God. That's going to be huge. How will they know, though? You've made your prediction. You can't take it back.
die.
That wasn't
So-
part. That wasn't part of the prediction.
Okay. Morgan?
It's fake news.
Morgan, you said you're going big?
Gendry gets the throne.
Oh! Wow.
That's a good one.
That's a hot take. It's going to suck when he dies next
Take.
week.
Yep.
If he does, he does.
If he dies, he
He
dies.
has nothing to live for anymore now that Arya turned him down. So
Apparently,
I
that was
don't-
the greatest thing he's ever experienced in his life, so.
Yeah, don't even get me started. I love him. I'll be your Lady of Storm's End.
Morgan very gracefully hit herself in the
She
face when she
flicked
did that.
Such
Embarrassing.
a graceful lady.
But Arya
Yeah.
Stark is not a lady.
Yeah, I'll be exactly. If he likes her, he can like me. Whatever.
Oh, fuck.
I'll be Lady
Morgan,
of Storm's End.
Jesus. Okay, well, tune in next week to find out how Morgan's single life is going. And we'll do this one more time. One more prediction panel
One more time.
until the final episode. I'm excited.
Me too.
Yeah, Avengers Endgame was cool.
Yeah.
I'm Zach.
I'm Kaylin.
Morgan. Didn't say my last name this time.
You totally wrecked it.
Okay, bye.